what's going up, all you guys? This is the one and only Heavy Metal 95 here. Today we got a brand new video, and this time this is going to be a rock song history for this video. Because last time we already took a look back on my rock song history video, where I talked about the song Great Expectations. The song from the band Kiss from their third album, Destroyer. If you haven't seen my video, feel free to check out if you haven't seen it. So today we're going to be talking about another one, and this time this is going to be a different one. And this time we're going to be focusing on the songs from AC/DC, and those are the songs that were considered to be as one of the first songs that came out as a single. And we're talking about the song by AC/DC, Can I Sit Next to You Girl? Yeah, that's the song by AC/DC. The very first song recorded in 1970 and released in 1974 as a hit single, which later ended up to be appearing on, AC/DC's international album release version of High Voltage. That one. Yeah, that's the one I'm going to talk about as well. So, when AC/DC first formed as a band, probably around 1973 in Sydney, Australia, the band was originally formed by band members like the Young brothers, such as Malcolm Young and Angus Young, with Colin Burgess from the Master's Apprentice, and Larry Van Credield, who's the bass guitarist, and the vocalist Dave Evans. Because that's from whenever this comes back, when Dave Evans and Malcolm Young have been members of the band called Velvet Underground, not to be confused with the American rock band The Velvet Underground, but the one based in Newcastle for 2 years. When AC/DC first recorded their first hit single, their debut single, Can I Sit Next to You Girl, this featured Dave Evans on vocals. When this was originally written by Angus Young and Malcolm Young, this was the first original song from AC/DC. However, the band performed the song with Dave Evans on this Australian TV show called Countdown. On the whole music arrangement is more different than the version performed later on by Bon Scott, which, Bon Scott joined the band AC/DC after Dave Evans left the band as well. As if I'm not mistaken, though, because for the most part as well, because now that I think of it, however, the song was performed on the Last Picture Show when it was originally has always wanted to be made as a music video, released only in Australia, but it features Peter Clack and Rob Bailey on the bass. Well, Rob Bailey, who's the bassist, and Peter Clack is the drummer in the music video, because the way they dress it in that one, because the rest of the band members had that glam rock visual image, more of a reminiscent of this, how they look, which is a reminiscent of probably the glam rock band from London, England, called T-Rex, formed by Mark Bolan, Bill Legend, Mickey Finn, and Steve Curry. as whatever I can now think of it. I mean, even Angus Young only sports his soon-to-be iconic schoolboy uniform when the band AC/DC performed Can I Sit Next to You Girl. Whenever this was released as a single, however, the single version of Can I Sit Next to You Girl, which is the debut song by AC/DC, was released under the label Albert Productions on vinyl. However, this was recorded in the studio EMI, which is in Sydney, Australia. Yep. So, at this point, for how we wanted to come by for the whole thing on how we wanted to now remember for... However, this song has peaked at number 50 at the Australian Kent Music Report. As if you want to think of it. And then, once Dave Evans left the band AC/DC, Bon Scott has joined the band AC/DC. However, they recorded the song Can I Sit Next to You Girl with Bon Scott on the vocals. Unlike the single version, unlike the single version with Dave Evans on the vocals, this version was released as a 7th track on AC/DC's second album, TNT, which is also released on the 1st of December in 1975, which is the Australian album release. However, it also later appeared in the international version of AC/DC's album High Voltage in the US, as needless to whatever I can say. Now, you may know about this one as well, because I just wanted to come by on how I want to get to know about the songs from AC/DC as well. This has come across for how I now remembered. According to Clifton Walker's 1994 book, Highway to Hell, The Life and Times of AC/DC legend Bon Scott, Mark Evans had speaking out the creative process about how they formed AC/DC. Malcolm and Angus would come up with riffs and all that, and then we get into the studio. Malcolm and George would sit down at the piano and work it out. Malcolm and Angus would have been the barest bones of a song, the riff and different hit bits, and George would hammer it into a tune. Bon would be in it and out. When the band was recording backing tracks, once the backing track was done, he would literally be locked in the kitchen there at Albert's and come out with a finished song. Yeah, this is just basically how the creative process is for what AC/DC had the idea for whenever they want to say, that's just how they wanted to record the song as well. Some of the songs that were featured on AC/DC's second album, TNT, such as the 7th track, Can I Sit Next to You Girl, the 7th track on AC/DC's second album, TNT, ended up appearing on the international album release version of High Voltage as the 6th track on there, which is a lot very common though, because I just wanted to say about this one, this has got to another level, considering that High Voltage was the first American release album for AC/DC, released on the 28th of September in 1976. Because this has all have, just considering for, this has been quite literal. A lot very common, just how they wanted to explain for what AC/DC had to include the different version of the song Can I Sit Next to You Girl with Bon Scott, which ended up appearing on both of these versions on the albums. Like their second album, Highway to Hell, no, not Highway, no, TNT. Well, I'm talking about the second album. Yeah, that's the one released in Australia. However, for the most part as well, this was the real thing for that. The truthful thing considered that, have the consideration that the song Can I Sit Next to You Girl was the 7th track on AC/DC's second album TNT, which later ended up appearing in the American release version of AC/DC's album High Voltage, released in the US in 1976, especially on the 27th of on the 28th of September. Just considering for how my curiosity how this goes. I don't know if AC/DC has performed the song live with Brian Johnson, who is the vocalist for AC/DC, after Bon Scott died of alcohol poisoning. Considered that AC/DC recorded their final album with Bon Scott, Highway to Hell, in 1979. I don't know if Brian Johnson sings Can I Sit Next to You Girl live with AC/DC. I don't know if you could find anything to track it down, but that's the whole theory for this as well. For some obvious reasons. And this has just coming by on that. Like, I don't know if they appear on their set list as well. I don't think they have ever performed the song live as much as they thought as well. Because that's the real question, though. Especially when it comes to the song set list. And that's besides the point for this curiosity as well. Because we can all imagine for this. So that's going to be it for my video for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, especially if you're new to the channel. Smack the like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the notifications bell button. And for more surprises, if you missed anything new, leave a comment in the comment section below if you like as well. And that's all I have, what I got for today. So this is Heavy Metal 95 signing off. Thank you for watching my video, and I'm glad you liked it. Hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Be sure to stay safe and stay healthy. Hope you all have a great day. Take care. Goodbye for now.